I don't like to march. It's bad for the knees. Greetings and welcome back to the Banner Saga and the great trade city of Strand, where Ubin, our giant tax collector, has managed to negotiate double the usual tithe in return for bashing the heads of some local malcontents. After that, he met up with Vognir, the heir to the Val throne, who was travelling with Ludin, the Prince of Men, to Grofheim, the grand seat of power of the giants known as Val. At dawn, you're awoken by a delivery of goods. At least, you think it's dawn. Damn hard to tell with the sun that never moves. The governor's crest adorns the supply leathers. All there, just as promised, to your mild surprise. You wonder if Eric had anything to do with that. Your guards take the treasure wagon down to the gates. Vognir is already here. A while later, Ludin and his men appear, groggy and dishevelled. Mogir steps forward, Vognir's quartermaster, if you recall correctly, in charge of his unwieldy entourage of warriors. You know him only in passing. He asks if you're ready to depart. We're ready. You follow Mogir and join the others. Usually, the smaller doors set into the gates would be enough to enter or leave the city, but the town guards have been told to push them open entirely. They mutter things under their breath that are best not heard. Perhaps the governor expected you to draw a crowd, but there's nothing of the sort. Just frustrated, tired people. It summarizes Strand well as a whole, you think. Although let's not forget that we did get double the usual tithe from them, so it can't be all bad. And so the banner departs the city of Strand and sets out into the snowy mountains on the long journey home to Grofheim. A journey which can be arduous and difficult at the best of times. But now, with the sun having stopped in the sky, no doubt Ubin is most pleased for the 85 human fighters and 366 Val warriors who accompany him and his precious taxes. The caravan stops for the day. A gift, says Mogir, cracking open mead casks, from our gracious friend, the governor of Strand. The hours pass with raucous laughter as the mead is passed throughout the camp. Drink a little, drink a lot, or toast to Vognir. Let's just drink a lot, shall we? It's been a hard few days. The sun has stopped in the sky, which is just damned peculiar. And we've had the whole trouble in Strand, which frankly we could have done without, although double the tithe, so it's not all bad. Perhaps some of that was in the form of mead. Let's drink some of it. It's not often you get the chance to relax on the road. The odds of something happening to the treasure cart is low, especially in this company. You take advantage. Of course, we are most concerned about the treasure cart. You rise groggily, the campsite a casualty of merriment. Mogir is already kicking the warriors awake when you spot Ludin stalking your direction. Oh no, not Ludin! Did we play some prank on him last night when we were all merry from the mead? Hopefully not. He sidesteps sleeping bodies. Better wake up, you nudge Vognir. You're needed. Ah, it's Ludin. Always a pleasure. You look well rested. Vognir releases a caged yawn and receives a hard-eyed stare in return. How long to Grofheim? Ha! We're only 2 days out of Strand, you know. Come, I'll show you on a map. What? You mean this map? The world map. Drag the map around to look. A portrait icon that shows where your caravan is in the world. You can also tap on any location to get some history about it. So this is where we are. Right here, there is the beautiful visage of myself, the principal character at this time, Ubin, aged wanderer and tax collector. We come from Strand, as close as anything comes to a bastion of racial tolerance. Both men and Val compete to scratch out a living in this, the biggest trade city along the west coast. Many people still believe the god Denglir still watches over it, granting good fortune. Of course, sensible folk know that the gods are dead. The Karlsfjord. The fjord splitting off into Varl territory was named after Karl, the only Varl to ever become a governor of Strand, albeit for only a short time before the title returned to the human families whose ancestors originally built the city. But right now, we're most interested in our next stop, Vedrafell. Named Bad Weather. The gales that blow in from the bay and around the mountain peaks keep Vedrafell in a generally unpleasant state. What really cemented the name was the kind of person who would live there. Men cast out from Strand for one reason or another, with nowhere else to go. Well, it sounds like a lovely place. Where we are eventually heading to is Grofheim, all the way up here, so we've got quite a journey ahead of us. We head north, then east past the forts. Grofheim's far from Strand. It's going to be a long march. You should have had a drink last night, Ludin. Why not take ships to Skrymerstead? What's the point of marching? I don't like to march. It's bad for the knees. The Silverstone Bay is called that for a reason. It stays covered in ice all year. It would tear up the longships. Too bad, though. We could have shown you all the wonders of Skrymerstead. A half-sunken city crawling with dredge prints. Dredge and glaciers. You like glaciers? Ludin exhales through the nose, a poor disguise for his contempt. He turns and bats aside the tent flaps as he goes, barking at his company in the distance. Don't poke the anthill, Vognir. He seems no happier to be here than you. Or I, for that matter. Unless you couldn't tell, I'm not happy to be here either. I mean, just look at me. Spend a few more days with the boy, old friend. You'll be looking for a tall cliff to hop off to. Ludin's got a shorter wick than Harkon. Thanks, Vognir. Let's get moving. Another half day to Vedrafell if we're lucky. Camp. A home away from home, or if you're Ubin and you spend most of your life on the road collecting various taxes from various peoples, it pretty much is home. And one of Ubin's favourite things to do in camp is to rest, because resting increases morale, but it does consume your supplies, which are, of course, limited. We've also got the Heroes Tent, where we can level up our heroes, and we have a training tent where we can engage in mock battles to try out different abilities and such. I think we have some level ups pending, so let's head to the heroes tent and see what we've got. So these are the core heroes in my banner. We have Mogir, a rank 1 shield master. He is also the quartermaster of the Caravan, of course, and so therefore he is primarily responsible for doling out the grog to the giants, and probably other unrelated and not terribly interesting things. Of course, in combat, he's also very interesting, and he has the ability Bring the Pain, which allows him to strike for armor damage and also increases his passive effect, which is to return armor damage whenever he is hit. There's a little bit of tactical advice about using the Shieldmaster to create a forward charge, because of course he likes being in the thick of the action, does Mogir. He's also got 14 of a possible 18 armor, which is pretty high. He's a well-armored fellow, which of course helps him to wade into the thick of the fighting. This is his willpower, and below that we have the amount of willpower that can be spent to increase damage per turn, or increase movement, which is very useful, of course. And then below that we have his armor break stats, so that's the amount of damage he does to armor when he attacks armor. He can either attack for strength damage of 10, or armor damage of 2. That's the way that it works. Alright, very good, Mogir. You're looking solid. Who's next? Gunnulf has received a promotion, so we can level him up, and we have 35 renown. So I think we're going to, because we like Gunnulf. Gunnulf, the frog warrior, is one of my favourites. Promotion! The greatest warriors on the battlefield are those who live past their first battles to start a journey down the path to legend. Yes, we're going to promote him. There you go, Gunnulf. You are now level 2 Warhawk. So we can spend 2 points to level up his stats. Let's take a look at his special ability first, actually, because he is a Warhawk, which means he has the Tempest special ability, which is basically an area of effect sweep attack, which deals normal damage all around him, and it will hit friend or foe, so he's kind of best deployed on his own, but he's also kind of weak in terms of he has low armor, so he will get taken down quite quickly if he's isolated. So he can be a tricky one to play, old Gunnulf. He can be a tricky one to use on the battlefield, but when he's used well, he is enormously effective. I'm actually going to boost up his shield straight away to kind of give him a little bit more staying power, so that he doesn't lose his strength too quickly, like especially to weaker foes. In fact, I think I'm going to go straight up to 9, because the higher that is, the more damage people have to be able to do to him before it starts to reduce his strength, which is, of course, what he relies upon, old Gunnulf. He doesn't have a lot of willpower, and he has no ability to spend it to boost damage or movement, which is a little bit frustrating, but that'll have to wait for later. Who's next? Ludin, we're not interested in you. Harkon, rank 1 War Master, and then we're back to Mogia. Alright, so that's it. We'll leave Harkon and Ludin for now. They don't have level ups, and we'll take a look at their special abilities later on. For now, let us continue on our journey. I'm eager to reach Vedrefell, and to see what wonders await us there. It's bound to be a lovely place.
Vedrefell. Even the name means bad weather, where frozen wind sweeps in from the bay. They tend livestock, but most are just men driven from Strand with nowhere else to go. Why else would anyone stay? We won't stop long.
Well, if you say so, narrator, who may be Ubin, an Ubin who doesn't sound like Ubin to me, but, you know, maybe it's someone else who travels with the caravan. Peasant. By Ardraborg! That's a lot of Val for some missing cow! What? Couple of days back, sent word to Strand about a cow! Didn't expect an army! He looks pleased with himself, until it sinks in that you aren't here on his behalf. Where have your cattle gone? Wouldn't know! My boys seen men up in the hills carrying them away. Don't know how many men can hoist a whole cow by himself. Scalfings out there, maybe. Could they have Val working for them? Not from what the governor told me. I'm going to take a look around and get camp set up. The peasant spits, his eyes anxiously darting about as the caravan sets up tents. We'll be here no more than a day. There's silver for any food you've got. 100 of Val? Are you serious? Whatever you're willing to sell. You thinking of squatting? Not enough room here for a couple of hunters. Forget hundreds of... Shut up. Hear that? Where's Ludin? It's faint. Sounds like fighting and something else. Harkon takes off at a run. Battle! Ludin, what are you doing, man? Ludin bravely but foolishly has rushed in to engage this dread beast, but because his strength is so much lower than the target's armor, he has only a 50% chance to hit. Deflected attacks do no damage. From here on out, you will fail catastrophically if you don't break armor. Damaging both strength and armor is equally important. This is another central pillar of the combat. Ah, Ludin! Ludin bravely but foolishly rushes in and is immediately put down by the dredge monster. Fortunately, the rest of the giants have arrived. Get stuck in there, Harkon! What's this? Vognir! Vognir, no! Harkon, enraged, charges forward and opens with a sundering impact, breaking armor for 1 and dealing 2 strength damage. Mogia, meanwhile, begins to lumber around to flank the big target. The enemy continues to maneuver. Then Gunnulf, the frog warrior bodyguard, comes into the fray. Even his mighty strength isn't enough to do much damage yet through the tough armor of the enemy. He ought to break the armor and wear him down, but Gunnulf is too proud and switches to a strength attack, and then gets immediately hit back by the mighty enemy, taking 4 damage, greatly weakening him. Harkon doesn't make the same mistake, instead choosing to break the armor of the enemy and wear him down for a future attack. Gunnulf takes another blow, weakening him yet further, and then Mogia comes to bring the pain, breaking the armor of the enemy yet further, and of course ensuring that pain is brought upon any who attack him in return. Gunnulf, greatly weakened now, has at least 1 trick left up his sleeve. It's time to unleash the Tempest. Only 1 damage, but every little helps, and another hit back on Gunnulf. He is in a sorry state now. But with the big dredge's armor so well broken, Harkon can unleash a devastating blow, more than halving his enemy's strength. Gunnulf takes yet another blow, reducing his strength down to just 5. He is in a poor state now. He's going to be doing relatively little. But if Hakon and Mogia can end the battle fast enough, then he might just come through it without injury. Come on, Mogia, let's batter these enemies. A good blow, and just taking a little bit of armor damage in return, which of course is partially reflected back. Gunnulf, it's you again. Unfortunately, your strength is now well below the armor of both targets, so it's just going to have to be a little armor break attack. It's a weak thing to do, but it is the best of a bad set of options. Oh, and the enemy's withdrawing look. In fact, he's doing something with his sword, his blade. We know what he's up to, and he's not going to get a chance to complete his summoning. Kill him, Hakon! Bring that enemy to the ground! And look, a horn cometh. Whenever an enemy falls in battle, 1 willpower star is added to your horn. We can use that for charging up our willpower, but I don't think we're going to need to in this battle. Another enemy falls. Gunnulf takes a blow, but it's not going to matter. Just wear down your enemy's armor a little bit. Hakon should be able to finish the fight. Move around just in case Mogia needs to come in as well. Hakon, it's going to be over. Oh, it actually could have been over if I'd used the willpower, but clearly Mogia wanted to have the last blow. He wanted to step in and get in on the action and destroy this evil creature once and for all. Victory! But at what cost? You trying to get yourself killed, Ludin? What are you doing? I was trying to get a shot between the plates. You never seen Dredge before, boy. What kind of idiot? Break their armor first. Not like Gunnulf. Gunnulf didn't do that either. He's also an idiot. But he wears green and we like him anyway. Where did they come from? We didn't even see them. They were just there. Hakon goes to where Vognir lies face down. The future Varl King lies motionless, aside from a spreading pool of blood. Vognir is dead.